The first, Jordan Alvarez had that hand inflammation. He's back, and look at him crushing it. The fastball the other way. It finds the seats. His 27th homer of the season. Astros up 1-0 early. Next batter, Alex Bregman. And Alex Bregman knocks it deep to left field. That's gone. Back-to-back jacks for the Astros. 7th time they've done it this season. Look at him. Posing, having some fun in the dugout. Astros up early 2-0. To the 6th, 5-2 game. Chas McCormick at the plate hammers that one. Deep into right field, into the seats. 2-run homer for him. The 9th of the year for the Tasmanian Devil, and Astros up 7-2. Still a 7-2 game in the 9th inning. Yanks hanging around, though. Aaron Judge the plate, and he's hanging that one out to dry. All the way over the train tracks into left field. His 34th of the year. 410 feet. Yanks within 2. Later in the inning, Matt Carpenter trying to play the hero, but instead the game-ending double play, and the Astros hold on to beat the Yankees 7-5 in Game 2. So let's take you to Game 1. This one got interesting late. Top of the 9th, Yankees trailing 2-1, 2 outs. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa up to bat, tying run at second, bounces that one through. Aaron Hicks comes in to score, and the Yankees tie the game at 2. So bottom of the inning, Michael King in a jam, bases loaded, 2 outs. Jay Matashevich up at the plate, and look at this. He hits to the left side. No one's covering second, so the game-winning run comes in to score for the Astros. Matashevich walks off Game 1 for a Houston 3-2 win. They sweep that doubleheader. The Astros holding the Yankees to their lowest single-season batting average ever against an opponent. They also went 4-0 against the Mets, giving them 9 wins against New York teams this season. That is 5 more than any other team. Let's go to the big news out of the NFL. Arizona Cardinals star Kyler Murray has agreed to a 5-year extension worth, get this, $230.5 million. Sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter, a deal that easily makes him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Take a look at this. Murray's $46.1 million average salary trails only Aaron Rodgers for the most among quarterbacks. His $160 million in guaranteed money, also the second most among quarterback contracts, trailing only Deshaun Watson's $230 million. So Kyler is a very, very rich man this morning. And we bring in our team to talk it over. Robert Griffin III, Jeremy Fowler, Mike Tannenbaum back with us. Okay, so Jeremy, I remember just a couple months ago, Murray scrubbed the Cardinals from his social media. His agent issued this blistering statement February criticizing the Cardinals. What do we know about why this is happening now?
Well, that was all just part of the negotiation. What we know, what I was told, is that the Cardinals have really budgeted for this deal for the better part of the last year. They had decided even in October, November range, hey, this is a franchise cornerstone. We're going to build around him and eventually pay him. And so they spent a lot of the offseason chipping away at this deal. I was told from a Cardinals source, hey, we know what life is like when we haven't had good quarterback play, when they went 3-13 4 years ago. And Kyler came in and completely changed our trajectory. They knew he had no interest in playing on $5.5 million on his rookie deal this year. So they worked at it, and they just had to find a sweet spot with the guaranteed money and the structure.
Okay, so it all came together. Mike T., what's your reaction to this deal?
They paid too much. He has 3 years to go on his contract. They could have paid him this year. He could have played next year. They could have franchised him. So they had 3 more years to go. And at $46 million a year, it is too much money for a player that isn't a top 5 quarterback. When you think about Russell Wilson at $35 million a year, Dak Prescott at $40 million a year. And when you're running a team, your resources are scarce. Salary cap dollars, draft choices. And when we think about Davante Adams leaving Aaron Rodgers, we think about Tyreek Hill leaving Patrick Mahomes. We think about Amari Cooper leaving Dak Prescott. So do they lose DeAndre Hopkins because of this? If he's more at the $35 million range, they could keep more players around him. So I think he's young. I think he has a chance to get better, which he hasn't really done yet. But at the average per year, they're going to lose meaningful pieces that can help them win a championship.
Okay, and that's the big deal when you look at this. But, Robert, I saw you the entire time. You were shaking your head. What do you think about this deal?
No, I mean, I think it's a great deal for Kyler Murray, and I think Mike T's just forgetting how the NFL works a little bit. It's not about Kyler Murray being the second best quarterback in the league, and that's why he got paid that way. He got paid that way because the market continues to go up. So when guys get paid, that's where their number falls. So is Kyler Murray better than Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? No, he's not. But he was the last guy to get paid, so as the market goes up, he gets the benefits of that. My only drawback is that Kyler Murray didn't go for a fully guaranteed deal. We saw Deshaun Watson get one, and I understand it was a free-for-all. Everyone was competing for him. But with everything that he has going on off the field, it showed you that teams are willing to pay you no matter what. If they want you, they'll come out and get you. It's not an issue of escrow. It's not an issue of timing, and maybe he was close to being a free agent. It's a matter of the team wanting you and you and your agent stepping up and saying, I am not going to sign a deal unless it is fully guaranteed. In that regard, I do think that Kyler Murray could have done better for the guys that are coming after him.
And RG3, I certainly understand your point. What I would say, though, is, again, he had 2 more years on his contract, and they could have franchised him for another year. So we do see people move the market. Someone like, for example, Kirk Cousins, who becomes an unrestricted free agent. My problem with this deal specifically is they went to the top of the market and they went early. Typically, when you go early as a team, you need some reason to do that. Clearly, they didn't get anything for that. And we've seen countless examples of when franchise quarterbacks get this type of money, they lose their teammates. And we could look at his body of work over 3 years. It's going to be a concern when he loses meaningful pieces. Can he carry this team? He hasn't proven he can do that.
Okay, don't worry, guys. We're going to get to this more. We're going to keep talking about this as we go forward, but I want to talk about Lamar Jackson because Kyler Murray's deal relates to Lamar, and the contract negotiations for Lamar are ongoing, but the Ravens quarterback has reported to training camp. Here he is walking in the building, all smiles. I'm assuming with the news of Kyler Murray's contract fresh in his mind because this man will be a very rich man. Look at the comparison between these two guys. Dating back to his 2019 MVP season, Lamar has won 74% of his starts, has the second best QBR in the league. Compare that with Kyler, whose career record's below 500, his QBR nearly 10 points lower than Lamar's. But I got to look at this, and guys, Robert makes a great point. The market forces are coming into play here. Mike, you're saying maybe a little too early for all of this. But as I look at it, Jeremy, I wonder how this deal impacts what happens with Lamar.
Well, it certainly bolsters the quarterback market, and it helps any quarterback out there. I talked to somebody with Buffalo yesterday. They were thrilled that they did Josh Allen a year ago at $43 million. That's all of a sudden a huge discount. But the Ravens are going to try at this. It's a good sign that Lamar showed up, and by all indications, he will actually be on the practice field. I was told that he's got his LA-based quarterback coach going to come out and visit here soon and watch him work out. So this might not even be a hold-in or hold-out situation, so they can kind of settle in and try to negotiate here in good faith. But, you know, a Ravens source told me, look, that we're not panicked and we're just going to chip away at this, but there hasn't been a lot of hard progress. This could take a while.
So, Mike T, if you look at this situation, and if you're a Ravens GM, I'll put the GM hat on you, you know this situation all too well. Kyler Murray just got paid a ton of money. You look at this, it might be impacting how you deal with Lamar. How does this play out in terms of how you do this deal?
Yeah, to me, what's really impacting is Deshaun Watson. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I walked into the owner and say, Mr. Bisciotti, I'm not going to take 5 cents less than Deshaun Watson, going back to RG3's point, average per year and fully guaranteed. Because I've outplayed Deshaun Watson, let alone Kyler Murray. I've been a league MVP. I've been beyond reproach on and off the field. And the good news for you, I don't want anything more than Deshaun Watson, but I'm not taking 5 cents less, and I'm not taking anything less than a fully guaranteed contract because I've outplayed Deshaun Watson. So this puts Baltimore in a really tough situation. Yeah. And every day the deal doesn't go down, then John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, their GM, those are the questions they need to answer. How can you let your quarterback be in the last year of his deal?
Right. And Robert, I look at this and I think Lamar Jackson, you know, a lot of times we took him to task for why hasn't he done a deal yet? Why hasn't he done a deal yet? Well, now we see why he hasn't done a deal yet. And he was actually made a very smart move here, it seems.
Yes, he has made a very smart move. And I'll tell you right now, it's not enough money, Mike T, to go in and ask for Deshaun Watson money. Lamar Jackson should not sign a contract unless it's fully guaranteed, 6 years, $300 million. Wow. That is what he's worth. He should be the first $50 million quarterback because when I look at it this way, he's accomplished more than Kyler Murray has in his career. Kyler is feared. Lamar Jackson is more feared. Kyler is a dynamic playmaker. Lamar Jackson's a more dynamic playmaker. And listen, I don't really really agree with all the stuff about Kyler Murray and his leadership and that all coming out, but you don't hear any of that stuff about Lamar Jackson. And even if it was true and there were some questions about his leadership and maturity, you wouldn't hear about it because the Baltimore Ravens don't do that backstabby stuff. So when I look at Lamar Jackson, he has an opportunity to truly change the game. Go out, get your 6 years, $300 million, fam, and you'll be that much closer to being a billionaire like you talked to me about when you were a rookie.
I like that. He was thinking about that even when he was a rookie. I like that. Go ahead.
Those numbers all sound great. $46 million fully guaranteed, $50 million a year. I don't see the Ravens doing that. I'd be fairly surprised if they bridge that kind of gap. I just think that they've been far apart. They're prepared to use the franchise tag in 2023. They've already made that clear. I think if it was a no-brainer, they were willing to pay him that high, they would have been closer by now. Right now, there's just a huge gap.
Right. No, it really makes a very messy situation. And that's where I think Jeremy's alluding to what's going on right now, which is if I'm Lamar Jackson, I cannot do anything less than what Deshaun Watson got in average per year and fully guaranteed dollars. We're in the same division, and I've outplayed him. And if I'm Baltimore, I am upside down upset over what Cleveland did. And what I'm trying to communicate to Lamar Jackson is, look at Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, all these other quarterbacks. We'll be closer to those deals, but we're not going to fully guarantee it. And I think that's why the deal isn't done.
Okay, Robert, I'll give you the last word. Are you hearing it that way? Are you going to hear it that way if you're in Lamar's shoes?
No, I'm not hearing none of that. Listen, Lamar Jackson is a unanimous MVP. None of those guys have that criteria. Lamar Jackson puts the team on his back every single game he steps out there. They go as he goes. And last year, for me, was the kicker. Lamar